Yep.
CBS LA at 4 starts with breaking news.
And we begin with that breaking news at 4 o'clock. A brush fire burning at least two homes in Antelope Acres. Desmond Shaw is live overhead in Skycal. Des.
Amy, we are well west of Palmdale, about 5 miles or so on West Avenue J off of 90th Street West, where you can see the fire is almost out now at this point. But as I zoom in, it's not before it took out a couple of homes here and quite a few outbuildings. As I double in, you can see these were all portable buildings right here that appear to be smoldering. There were a lot of cars that were in this big lot as well. And then this was a home right here that is now burned completely to the ground. It was a very intense fire. As I widen out, there were some other homes that were threatened. There are some evacuations in the area as well. Firefighters are doing a great job making sure that the fire doesn't spread to that property. As I widen in, you'll see there was also a solar farm that was under threat. It burned right up here to this roadway, but they managed to get this knocked down as well. There were a couple of helicopters that were flying, but they have since been released. No reports of any injuries or the cause of the fire. At least two homes have burned as well as other structures here in Antelope. Live in Sky Overhead, I'm Desmond Shaw, KBS Studios.
All right, Des, thank you. Well, we do have some more breaking news. A deadly crash involving a U.S. Air Force B-52 bomber, which went down shortly after takeoff at Edwards Air Force Base. Sky Cal over the scene a little earlier, and assignment editor Mike Rogers is at the desk with more for us. Mike.
Yeah, you know, Amy, this crash was visible from much of the Antelope Valley, including wildfire cameras. And unfortunately, this afternoon, we can tell you that 8 people have been killed in this crash. We'll show you the video from SkyCal, who was over the south end of Edwards Air Force Base. Obviously, we're looking at a distance here because of the flight restrictions surrounding an active military base. Now, we are expecting an update from the military here soon, as early as 4:15 p.m., when they could be giving us an update on what happened. But what we know right now is that they were taking off there from Edwards Air Force Base when obviously something went wrong and that B-52 bomber crashed just off of takeoff. Now, again, we don't know any of the particulars about what happened. We do know, though, that unfortunately 8 people died as a result. I want to show you some video because this was also captured on the Alert California wildfire cameras. You can actually see the smoke that kind of went up in there. You'll see the camera zoom back in once again, but it was quick. They tried very hard rather, to get that fire out. Now, I want to show you the aircraft that we're talking about, the B-52 bombers. This is file video from DVIDS, from the Defense Secretary, or the Department of Defense, rather. These are very large aircrafts. There are 4-engine aircrafts that are designed to do a variety of tasks there for the military. We know this one in particular was from the U.S. Air Force, and again, a very large plane that took off from Edwards Air Force Base and unfortunately crashed, killing 8 people on board. And again, Amy, this afternoon we are awaiting a press conference from the U.S. military. Once we have that, and once we have that new information, we'll be sure to pass it along to you.
We certainly will, Mike. Thank you. Well, we have even more breaking news for you. Governor Gavin Newsom under federal investigation. The news broken by Newsom himself. CBS LA's Jeff Nguyen is live in the newsroom to break it down for us. Jeff.
Amy, this afternoon we are learning from sources several investigations have been going on for about a year now, and they originated through a whistleblower here in California. Donald Trump picked the wrong target. Governor Gavin Newsom says his constant criticism of President Trump is putting him in the crosshairs of the Department of Justice, along with his wife, someone who has done nothing wrong other than having been summarily to advocate for what she believes in. CBS News reports one of the DOJ's ongoing investigations has been linked with first partner Jennifer Siebel Newsom's taxes. Former federal prosecutor Nima Ramone says the case may have to do with Siebel Newsom's nonprofit making payments to her production company. The investigation is likely into whether there was a bribe or some other game of play. In a statement, Siebel Newsom says there are clearly no boundaries to what Donald Trump will do to get his way or to challenge those who get in his way. He's coming after me because I'm considering running for president. Because he hates that I've consistently called him out. Newsom says Sunday's UFC event is one example of Trump using the presidency to market his businesses like Trump Coin. The event was streamed on Paramount Plus, which is owned by Skydance, the parent company of CBS LA. Political strategist Rob Stutzman says it's too early to tell whether the investigations will lead to charges. He points out that the Trump administration has gone after the president's critics, like former UN Ambassador John Bolton, former Fed Chair Jerome Powell, and former FBI Director James Comey. That doesn't necessarily mean that there's not a legitimate investigation going on. News is also reporting another investigation is related to newsroom's former chief of staff, Dana Williamson, who was indicted on fraud and tax charges last year and pleaded guilty last month. The Army says federal prosecutors are not obligated to reveal what they're investigating.
Just because there is an investigation doesn't necessarily mean charges will be filed. Sometimes investigations, they go nowhere.
We have learned the investigations are being handled out of the DOJ's office in Sacramento, and through a spokesperson, the DOJ declined to comment for this report. Live in the newsroom, Jeff Nguyen, CBS All.
All right, Jeff, thank you. Well, politics at the heart of soccer today. Iran playing New Zealand tonight in the World Cup against the backdrop of the U.S. war in Iran. Protests earlier today outside SoFi Stadium against the Iranian regime. Organizers say FIFA is allowing the country to portray a sanitized image with their inclusion in the World Cup. Now, they say they want to highlight the regime's human rights violations and repression of its people. They held signs and pictures of athletes they say have been executed or killed by the regime. The rally meant to push FIFA to suspend or expel Iran from international football. CBS LA's Delia Caballero joining us live from Manhattan Beach Hotel, where the Iranian national team is staying. And Delia, how is security there right now?
Oh, I can tell you it is very tight. Law enforcement on just about every corner. And even to get into the entrance of the Westbrook Manhattan Beach Hotel, you can see several barricades at several entrances. So they're not playing any games. And those who are coming here to the hotel to support the teams say it's a good thing.
When there's a national team staying in the hotel, it's like security's there, it's very intense.
Keon Rostan is visiting from Boston and is staying at the Westbrook Manhattan Hotel, which is hosting the Iran national team.
I love that. It's like part of the excitement. Feel the energy of the game.
Security is very tight in and around the hotel.
I'm honestly relieved by that. I mean, I think the security is doing a really good job.
Mohammed Sharafi, who's visiting from Virginia, tells us the security makes him feel safe as a fan, adding it's also good for the players, who he knows personally.
I'm here to support my country and my friends who they play today. They have people that they're gonna support them. They have people that hate them. So it's normal. It's just for their safety.
There's no doubt the World Cup is bringing excitement for fans and a major security challenge for public safety officials.
We're fighting the physical, cyber, and online threats created against here in California.
The California Governor's Office of Emergency Services, or CalOES, has spent more than a year planning for the tournament, coordinating with local, state, and federal partners to monitor threats and respond quickly if needed, setting up a mobile command center in Inglewood, which has portable communication devices.
Whether they're coming from Carson or they're coming from Inglewood or they're coming from LASO or LAPD, we have some resources that will do all the connectivity. Even if we have federal resources that come in, U.S. Secret Service, FBI, they can utilize the equipment that we have.
The high security just part of the World Cup atmosphere.
The World Cup energy is really active right now.
A dream come true for lifelong fans like Rostan.
It's probably the best time of every 4 years for me.
He says he's rooting for the U.S. and
Iran. So that's like the big chance that people do for team building.
And whether his teams win or lose, he hopes the World Cup can bring people together.
And I hope that the World Cup is an opportunity for people just to feel the unity of all our countries.
Officials say currently there aren't any credible known threats to any World Cup games or events, but nonetheless they are telling fans and spectators who are joining these events to expect security screenings and always, of course, watch their surroundings. Reporting live from Manhattan Beach, this is Delia Caballero, CBS LA.
Well, a signed memorandum reopening the Strait of Hormuz tonight. An agreement between the U.S. and Iran sets the framework to end the war. Now, the U.S. and Iran will come together on Friday for a formal signing ceremony. That's according to the White House. The agreement sets up the structure for negotiating the fine details, which will likely focus on Iran's nuclear program and Israel's battle against Hezbollah in Lebanon. Now, President Trump says the U.S. will immediately end its naval blockade of Iranian ports. In exchange, Iran will open the Strait of Hormuz.
With the structure of this deal triggering a fair amount of American leverage up front,
Well, the deal sets up talks on what will happen to Iran's nuclear program, with details to be negotiated over the next 60 days following that signing. Well, oil prices hit a 3-month low today after the U.S. and Iran announced they'd reached the agreement. Both the global and U.S. benchmark dipped about 5%, but oil analysts say it could still take months for prices to return to pre-war levels. The gas prices have fallen more than 45 cents over the past 27 days. Currently, the average cost for a gallon of self-serve gas in LA County is $5.76. Ventura County, $5.66. Orange County, $5.63. And the
So I accidentally sent that email to Kimberly from the OCDA's office instead of Kimberly from Paramount Legal. She just responded. She said, "I think you should use it." Does that count for anything? Bye.
The emotion was caught on camera as the family demands justice. Plus, a double natural phenomenon happens simultaneously. The breathtaking moments from Mother Nature just ahead. And lessons making a life-saving splash. How LA County is diving into the season to build confidence in kids as they beat the summer heat. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah, it's good. So much breaking news. Yeah. Yeah, no. Oh, I didn't even notice. Oh, okay. Episode 40 now. And to some developing news in Santa Ana, where a stabbing ended with police shooting and killing a teenage boy. Police say this started as a family disturbance. They got a call last night around 10:30 from a man who said he was stabbed by his girlfriend's son. Well, he told officers the 16-year-old was under the influence and vandalizing property inside their home. When officers arrived, the teen still had a knife and would not drop it, and that's when police opened fire, killing him. That man was taken to the hospital. He's expected to recover.
We don't know what the cause of the disturbance was. I'm not aware that there were any other calls for service at the apartment.
Police say no one else in any of the other apartments was involved or hurt. A SpaceX Falcon 9 The rocket carrying 24 Starlink satellites into orbit. This was the first of the launches scheduled to take place at Vandenberg this week. Following separation, the booster rocket landed on a drone ship off the coast. Stunning spectacle now as a whirlwind hit during the latest eruption at the Kilauea volcano in Hawaii. This happened during episode 49 yesterday, just after 2 p.m. The USGS says these whirlwinds are kind of dust devil, and they form with heat, which causes an upward airflow and strong winds. Well, king tide slammed our coast early this morning. The high surf is bringing threats of flooding. You can hear the waves crashing during the peak in Newport Beach last night, but the threat isn't over. Strong waves are expected to last at least until tomorrow. City crews have been busy placing sandbags and monitoring flood-prone areas like Balboa Island, Newport Island, and parts of the peninsula. You're going to have to walk through water to get one of the famous frozen bananas on Balboa Island. High tides have been showing up near the entrance to the Balboa Island ferry. As you can see, the water is not too deep, but you will get your feet wet. Those frozen bananas might be worth it, though. Yeah, but we have to, despite the great bananas, the risk of rip currents remain high for the next couple of days, right, Ed?
Ouch. Marco. Okay. Bye.
All right, thank you, Ellen. We are following some breaking news, a news conference happening right now after that deadly crash involving that U.S. Air Force B-52 bomber jet. Let's listen in right now.
And responsible for Plant 42. Company Colonel Hayes today is our command Chief Master Sergeant, Chief Josh Skarlocking as well. He's got a brief statement and we'll then entertain questions. I ask, please, when you ask questions, please identify who you are with. That would be appreciated. I'll tell you all up front, and you probably have a sense, there's not a whole lot of information that we can provide, but Colonel Hayes will take some questions and answers afterwards to help you out as much as we can. Thank you very much. Colonel Hayes?
Thank you, Mike. Thank you all for coming. Today, Edwards Air Force Base experienced a horrible tragedy, and we lost 8 great Americans. This crash is deemed to be unsurvivable, and right now, our thoughts and prayers are with the families of those that lost their loved ones. We're sending teams out to notify the next of kin right now as we speak, and those next of kin notifications will take place over the coming hours and remainder of the day. It was a B-52 that was on initial takeoff, supporting the radar modernization program, which is it was a local test sortie. It took off, and immediately after takeoff, crashed and burst into flames. Our team of first responders snapped into action and immediately cordoned off the area and took the appropriate action to start putting out the flames. While that was taking place, our base responded in kind to establish an emergency operations center and a wing operations center to ensure that the command and control of all base agencies and the response to the recovery effort was underway. After reviewing the footage to reiterate that our thoughts and prayers go out to the family members. This is a tragedy, and this is going to be the worst days of their lives. We understand that, and we want to keep them in our thoughts and prayers. At this point, we don't have any indication as to what the cause was of this. We won't be able to release that information, and we don't have an ability to get that anytime soon. Right now, we're going to stand up an interim safety board to do the initial gathering of the facts, and that will then lead to a safety investigation board, which will look into those root causes. Once that's complete, it takes about 30 days. Then it'll go into an accident investigation board, and then that will determine all of the information that we can release to the public and to the next case. That process can take upwards of 6 months, so we have to wait patiently while that process undergoes to ensure that we have, we respect the process of doing full root cause analysis. I want to introduce my command chief, Josh Scarlocken, to provide any words if you want to.
Again, we wish absolute condolences to the family members, and again, thank our first responders who responded very bravely. Again, this is a tragedy. It's something that we never planned for, but we're always prepared for to respond, and we thank those involved as we go through this process.
I'll now open it up for questions. It was Sam, was it? Yeah, thank you for that question. This was a mixed crew. This was a mixed crew of military, government civilians, and government contractors supporting this test mission. Thank you for that question. Appreciate it. No, we don't have the profile or any of that. It was a local test mission that was in execution according to their test plan. That will be made public later. We can't talk about any of the details of the specifics of the aircraft. All of that's going to be analyzed by the accident investigation board, and that information will come out after that. The crash was totally contained within Edwards Air Force Base on the runway. Ma'am, I appreciate that question. Right now, we're doing Mexican notifications, and we don't want to release any information about who these individuals are until their families know about it. We'll have that information 24 hours after Mexican notification takes place. I can't speak to the specifics of when that happened. I don't have that information available to me. It hasn't been within the last 3 years since I've been here. Absolutely. Our test missions take place every day, multiple times a day. That's correct. Yes, ma'am. So the initial response is to ensure that we can get the fire out and that we cordon it off and make it a safe area for everybody, all of our first responders and anybody that might be coming up to the crash site. So that is already undergone. Now it is a recovery operation. Again, we're not going to release any specifics as to the makeup of the crew. I can just say at this time that it was a mixed crew of government civilians, government contractors, and uniformed military. We'll have those details after we have next of kin notification. No. Again, those details will come out over the next several weeks after we have the investigation to release those public records.
Yeah, they don't have a call out for it.
It was tragic and unsurvivable is where I'll leave it.
I was saying I don't see a call on Pulse Point for it.
Yes, we did reopen the ability for individuals to come
Copy.
on base. terminating operations while we undergo this, mainly because of the runway itself. And we'll eventually get back to full operations and execute. We'll obviously internalize any of the whatever information we can from this. But at this point, yes, we are standing down operations tomorrow. That is a great question. I'm sorry, what was your name one more time? Thank you, Raymond. Yes, this is an Air Force run operation. So we have all the processes that I've just laid out is going to be entirely Air Force. I don't have those details at this time.
Ladies and gentlemen, again, thank you for coming out here today, and we appreciate the sympathy that you're all expressing, helping us express to our internal and external communities. To your right is a group of public affairs people. They honestly will not be able to provide much more, if anything, than Colonel Hayes and Chief Scarlocking have today. But if you would like to follow up with them, they're available to you. Thank you very much.
And you've been listening to an update about that B-52 crash at Edwards Air Force Base. We learned that it was tragic and unsurvivable. 8 people were on board, military, civilians, and government contractors all aboard. The 8 that were killed. We've learned that Mexicans being notified and an investigation is also underway that could take up to 6 months to find out exactly what happened. But we do know that B-52 crashed right after takeoff and burst into flames, so we'll continue to stay on top of this story. Well, this afternoon, District Attorney Nathan Hoffman in an LA County court asking a judge not to pay out thousands of sex abuse claims against the county. Assignment editor Mike Rogers is at the desk. And Mike, you've been following this closely.
Yeah.
Just last week, you told us the DA believes as many as 81% of those claims could be bogus.
That's right, Amy. And remember, this is $4 billion, billion with a B, that LA County settled with nearly 10,000 sex abuse survivors, or at least people that claim to be sex abuse survivors at the hands of LA County and people who worked for LA County. But the DA says he's got strong suspicions the majority of those claims aren't true. I'm going to show you some video here. We're talking about claims that went back all the way to the 70s and 80s. This is DA Nathan Hoffman himself at the table in court today, asking a judge to pause it for 6 months until the end of the year. The judge disagreed. He paused it only until July 25th, until he says he wants the county to get more documentation and more paperwork. Now, this is what the DA put in their filing last week. The district attorney's office believes the percentage of fraudulent claims involved is upwards of 81%, which is a really high number. Places like this, McLaren Juvenile Hall, where people claim to have been sexually abused. The DA, though, says through some of their preliminary investigation over the last 6 months, they have found a lot of problems with a lot of stories.
Patterns that ultimately show that the individual who's claimed to be at a county facility back when they were a child wasn't there. That we have multiple databases that we can search through to determine whether or not that allegation that they were at the facility and then suffered the sex abuse, whether that's a true allegation or not a true allegation. We are also speaking with a number of claimants who have come forward to say that when they filed a lawsuit, it was not a valid lawsuit. We have spoken to medical providers who said that when someone claimed that medical provider signed a certificate of merit allowing the lawsuit to go through, that signature of that particular medical provider was not accurate either.
And Amy, tonight he says they are using a number of computer databases to confirm whether or not the people who claim to be in the juvenile facilities and allegedly sexually assaulted were even there at the time they claimed. So he hopes to have the investigation wrapped up soon. The judge says they'll pause these till the 25th. Amy, let's go over to you for some more breaking news.
Yes, Mike, we are following more breaking news of brush fire in Stevenson's Ranch. Desmond Shaw live in Sky Cal with more for us. Des.
Well, and you're definitely going to see some smoke here in the western Santa Clarita Valley. I have the map overlay on here tonight. That's the major street. It is right by Pico Canyon Park, and it looks like it started off of a hiking trail. You can see it's definitely near some homes, and we've got brush that's going up. We saw this when it was only a little spot fire, but it's been really tricky for
And Mike
Yeah.
Rogers is at the desk here. Mike, you've been getting some new information?
Yeah, we're monitoring this as well. I can reiterate what Desmond said. I don't see any aircraft inbound to this yet. But Des, if you can go back and look at the fire vehicles that are there, because I believe a bunch of patrol trucks just showed up here. The patrol trucks are the brush patrols that I can actually, if they find access, yeah, that one that's kind of turning around, then you got another one over there. That actually might be a squad, but you got those two, that pickup truck, and there's one more over to the right that are brush patrols that are a little bit more nimble and can get back there. So hopefully they're going to turn around and go try to find access to be able to pull that hose and get closer to the fire. Obviously, you can see here, I mean, they may be able to go over some grass right there, but it looks like it may be a better idea if they were to go around and try to get on that trail and do it that way. But so far, as we are looking, we don't see any aircraft in the air. As Des mentioned, they have had a busy afternoon already up in the Antelope Valley, dealing with two separate, decently large fires up there. So, oh, you know what? Copter 21, Des, taking off out of Barton. So we should see that inbound here shortly. But they just popped up on the radar and looks like they're headed over to this fire. They probably had to stop and get fuel for a minute because they've been up for so long today already. So hopefully a couple of those will come in and do the trick. But at least we do see one on the map now.
And with those helicopters, is there any water around this area? Is there like a
Well,
man-made lake, anything?
they'll come loaded up with one, and then what they're likely doing somewhere is setting up what's called a helispot. So you'll have, there's fixed areas, and I'm not sure where they are particular to this region, but you'll have an engine go over there and fill up one of those big tubs, essentially, and they'll dip out of there. Des, are you seeing any of that? As the fire's actually growing pretty quickly, too.
Yeah, it is growing pretty quickly here. It's definitely, probably 5 or so acres, and you've just got, because of the uphill terrain here as well as all that big brush, there is a lot of fuel for this fire to chew through. There is a ship on the way. And speak to water sources, I mean, in addition to the telespots, you also have the San Fernando Reservoir that's not too far, just on the other side, basically, the end of the LA Aqueduct there in the Granada Hills area that they'll be able to dip into if need be. So, but you are no doubt seeing a lot of smoke now all across the Santa Clarita Valley as we watch this fire continue to grow just west of the 5 freeway off of Pico Canyon. As we were saying, they can just get a couple of water drops in. I mean, they can get the advantage off this fire very quickly, but getting ground crews, obviously very tricky there. They haven't gotten anyone there, yet, haven't gotten any water on this fire. So still expanding here, burning away from homes here at the moment, but it's growing, no doubt about it.
Yeah, and because of the position of that fire kind of down in that crevice, it's got uphill on both sides of it, so it can really raise up those hillsides, which would lead to, one section of homes and on the other side up to more homes. So, we're hoping, as you mentioned, Des, that they can get some water on this fire quickly, because this is certainly going to be tough for boots on the ground to get to that area. They really are going to rely heavily on aircraft. And Mike, you saw
Yeah.
at least one that had already taken off.
Yeah, Copter 21 just crossed the 14, so they're very close. They'll probably be coming up to Des here, I'd say, in the next minute, if not sooner than that. And I'm just looking to see if anybody else is up on the radar. I don't see anybody just yet. But, this is still at such an early stage that Copter 21 could do, the Chinooks are popping up as well. So that's going to be really good. The Chinooks are coming up out of Van Nuys. So they're going to get some power on this, and hopefully, as we say, 1 or 2 drops here should do the bulk of it. I mean, they'll hit that top that's coming up over the ridge right now. That helicopter is about to cross the 5 here in the next 20 seconds or so. So it'll be here pretty quickly, and hopefully that'll be the end of it and we can be done with this. But yeah, as you mentioned, Amy, I mean, it's in a really tough spot. If you, Des, look at the neighborhood up at the top left of the smoke column. It looks like they're getting some fire crews or maybe some, just right off Splendido in there. I thought I saw maybe some sheriff's deputies in that neighborhood, yeah, with a fire engine as well, or a fire vehicle as well. So they're already on the homes that are on the other side of this, making people aware of it. They're on Favoloso Court. So hopefully those people are, obviously they can see the smoke, and, hopefully it doesn't come to that where we have to do any kind of serious evacuations. But, this Firehawk is coming up, should be here in the next couple seconds. And then you've got the Chinook coming out of, looks like Van Nuys. Well, now they're off the radar, so we'll see if they're coming or not. But they popped up briefly, so we'll keep an eye on it.
And if you're living in one of those homes where you're seeing all of that smoke right at you, it's got to be a stressful time. And, we haven't heard yet about evacuations, but because this fire is so close to those homes, something tells me that that law enforcement that you saw in those, roads right there are probably telling people that they need to get ready to get out of there.
For sure, at least be aware of it. Here comes one of the drops right now, so we'll see, or here comes one of the helicopters right there. So Des has got it at the bottom of the screen. So that's certainly a nice sight to see, especially since they haven't gotten any water on this just yet. And it's just that kind of tough area. It's very kind of hilly, as you mentioned there, not a lot of access for them. So hopefully we'll see him come in, do a drop right at the top of the ridge, and slow down that progression on the top of the ridge, and be able to dip for water here in and out, and get a good handle on this pretty quickly. So far it's Copter 21, and haven't seen any others pop up on the radar. Briefly the Chinook did, but they dropped back off. So I'm not sure if they got canceled or what their deal is, but we'll keep an eye on that too.
Yes, and while this can hold a decent amount of water, something tells me they're going to need at least a couple of drops to get this under control. So we're hoping, as you were talking about earlier, Mike, there is a water source nearby that they can use and, get loaded up again and then get right back on the firing lines. It doesn't look like they've made the drop yet. Looks like maybe they're just trying to scout it out and see where the best place to drop that water is.
Yeah, for sure. So they're trying to figure out, and there's a fixed wing actually that's coming in too. That's coming out of, looks like almost north of Bakersfield, almost Fresno. That's coming in here. They may have been en route to the other fires that were burning and diverted. So that's good too if you get that in here. So it looks like they're going to actually almost set down. Oh, you know what? They actually probably have those wildland crews on board. They did earlier too. So they had the hand crews that were up there at in Lancaster and the Antelope Acres area. So they're going to dump out these hand crews here to get them close enough to try to cut some lines, and that is back-breaking work for those guys with shovels, those men and women with shovels and pickaxes and all of that. That's really intense work. So we'll probably see them hop out here in a second and head over there with their gear, and then hopefully the helicopter can go get some water and be able to dump some water on this. That maybe didn't like that spot. It looked like it was a little hairy there trying to put it down. They got to be safe for sure and get those people out of there. But that's the operation that's going on right now. That fixed wing also en route. Looks like there's another helicopter coming too. Copter 22 is coming out of Whiteman Airport in Pacoima. So they're only a couple minutes away as well.
And hopefully one of those will have the water
Yeah.
to do that drop, because even where they're looking to drop off these folks, they still, as you mentioned, like they've got to make their way over to that fire line, and as you mentioned, that is some tough work, and we're just continuing to see this fire go up that hillside, getting pretty close to those homes. So I'm sure that those folks in those homes are getting quite nervous, hoping to see some water drops happening, and we're watching and hoping for that as well, because it's a little, I'm sure, uncomfortable to see the fire that close to you.
For sure. And I'm just looking back. I mean, when Desmond first got here, this fire was like nothing. I mean, it was small. It was surrounding kind of one tree, and it has since really taken, a foothold on this hillside. And unfortunately, it's kind of run into the top there, where, obviously you don't want it. The good news is there's not a lot of fire behind it. It's hard because this type of vegetation, it's not that grass that burns really quickly. This burns a little bit longer and a little bit slower, as Des is looking up to kind of map it out for us there, as you see it kind of push out on the screen. But it's not as, flashy fuels, so it doesn't move as quickly. But this vegetation burns a little bit hotter and does it a little bit longer. So, okay, so then they dropped off. There's the crew. So there's the hand crew. Look at all those people that were on board the helicopter. That are now going to get all their gear going and go hike over there and start doing the hand crew work, and then hopefully the helicopter is able to come back. Now they'll want to be able to have the helicopter get a drop on it before the hand crew gets there, because it gets a little dicey when you're trying to drop a bunch of water on it while you have people in the area. So we'll see where that helicopter went. Let me look at it on the radar here. And then we've got Copter 22 is at the 5 and the 14 split right now. So hopefully they came with water and they'll be able to come back and just dump water on it. And we've got that fixed wing, as I mentioned, overhead. But I don't know if that's a retardant fixed wing or if it's just a, it's called Helco, like one that monitors the area and kind of gives directions. But it looks like this one should be able to dump retardant. So they may be trying to get situated. Certainly want to communicate with LA County Fire on a command channel to verify, what they're dropping and where, and do all of those things. So all of that's being coordinated right now. Unfortunately, this fire is still pushing its way uphill.
And Desmond, you have been watching this for a little while now, and you're seeing this fire grow. Give us an idea of how much you think that, you've got a nice vantage point compared to us. Has this doubled in size, would you say? All right, I guess Desmond can't quite hear us yet, but we can see the back end there of the fire as well, and it's not too far from homes on that side, and then we've got the far side of the fire that is racing up the hillside to those other homes. So certainly this fire has grown quite a bit. I don't know
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, I would say more than that. I mean, it was just a very small fire surrounding that tree when we first got over it, and it has obviously since really significantly spread. So it's definitely double the size. It's hard to tell because the bulk of the fire is now on the backside of the ridge, which is being covered in smoke at this moment. So that's kind of hard to tell. It is good though that it is burning itself out a little bit in the sense of like you don't see a ton of active flame at the moment. So we've got Copter 22 that's coming in right now. So hopefully they've got some water on it. That CAL FIRE fixed wing is still overhead, and then it looks like 21 may be taking water just to the north of the fire. So hopefully everything's going to come together at just the right time, and we can get through this.
Because the crew that was dropped off there had a nice little hike to get to, the edge of that fire and to start doing some work. So, they're making their way there. We also know, as Mike has been mentioning, there are copters and even a fixed wing that are all making their way to this fire. They really want to try to hit this with as much water and resources as they can because they see how close it is to those homes. And that's the last thing you want, is it to reach that hillside where those houses are. And we did see some law enforcement up, at least in the neighborhood. We have not heard just yet if there are any evacuations, or have you heard yet?
I've not. Let me check with the sheriff really quickly and see if there's anything official in place.
This could be in two different neighborhoods that could be evacuated. There's the chopper right there.
Yep.
Now, this is the same one that just dropped off the crew?
That is, it's hard to tell. No, that's a new one. That's Copter 22 that is out of Whiteman. So that's, yeah, that's a new one joining the party. So hopefully that, dumps some water on this too. They may also have their own hand crew and are going to dump off a second hand crew and then go get water and then, do all that. So we'll have to see how that all plays out. But that is a second helicopter.
We're watching, and it looks like the last time we saw this going around the side there, it was to drop off crews, and I'm wondering if they're going to the same spot to drop off more.
Yeah, it looks like they are. They're getting really low, so they're going to be dumping off a second crew here. And then the other helicopter, 21, is coming back into the picture now. So we hopefully will see them, be able to drop off some water, dump some water on this. It looks like Copter 21 is just entering back in at this moment as well. So hopefully they'll have some water.
There's a nice shot of that crew there, Mike, getting to that fire line and, doing some work out there, trying to, do what they can on this line. But we are watching as this helicopter is dropping off more crew members to get more boots on the ground because this fire is in such an area that they could not get to it easily. We see them really doing some work out there. And Mike, you were talking about, this really being some backbreaking.
There we go.
Now we see
Yeah, and I think he did just drop water. I think we just missed it maybe, but that's the original copter. And yeah, I mean, the white smoke is good. It is burning further to the west here, up into this valley. So, hopefully they'll get it situated. But it's a lot. And you look at the hand crews that are getting up in there, and they're gonna try to do their thing and build natural breaks. You see them there with chainsaws and picks and all of those other things, clearing away all the brush. Those are the ones that'll really try to work the line to keep it from going anywhere else. It's the copters that are going to have to get ahead of it and stop that from getting over the hillside onto the other side. And here's the second set of hand crews from the Los Angeles County Fire Department that are doing this. So we've got that. Looks like Copter 21 is going to go back and get some more water, and we'll just kind of have to play that shuttle water game where we do, over and over again. And it looks like I am now seeing, it looks like the Chinook looks like the Chinook is launching and is going to come play with the other fire helicopters and try to get this under control, which would be great because the Chinooks, as we have said so many times, just have such an impressive amount of water and can really, really, really make things work very, very well in a situation like this. So hopefully that comes in. Oh, look, here's the CAL FIRE fixed wing. So let's see if they're going to drop. There we go. Okay, so now we're getting some really good support out of this, which of course is so needed. It's dry, it's warm out today. The vegetation that's down there, when you look at it, not a lot of it's dead. A lot of it's decently green, which is good. But look at these massive flames that are just billowing up this hillside here, coming up across the other ridge. That, as you talked about, Amy, it was in the canyon, shot up the one side, and now it's coming back up the other side of the ridge.
Exactly, and as we look at this, we want to bring in our meteorologist, Evan Tapp, because we've been talking about there not being a lot of wind out there, Ev, but it is warm, and the conditions are right for fires. This is the second one we've seen today.
Trevor, are you still IFB-less? Okay, when I toss to you, I'm just going to hold down 1 and we'll do it like that.
All right, thank you, and we just continue to watch this fire burning, and we've been seeing some helicopters, 2 at least, that dropped off hand crews there on the ground, and we've seen at least 1
Hey, it's
retardant
Mike
drop. We
at
are
CBS.
waiting
Do you know anything about
for
evacuations in Santa Clarita
really
on this
drop
fire?
a lot of water on this fire because it is really quite close to neighborhoods here at
No, this is a new
on one
fire.
side. Ed was giving us
Yeah,
the
Stevenson
lighting
Ranch.
conditions there, but it is certainly a tricky
Yeah.
predicament because this fire was burning right between 2 neighborhoods.
Okay.
It's down in a crevice.
818
Des is showing us here that
655
less than 700 feet away
2636.
from these homes. So, we've been waiting to hear whether or not evacuations have been happening
Thanks,
in
bye.
this community. But, we did see law enforcement there. Mike, did you hear yet about the evacuation?
So it looks like we saw some video of them earlier going door to door. I think it's kind of localized, right? They're in those communities that are kind of behind it. And I wanted to see, Des, if you can pan to the right a little bit. There's that neighborhood just to the right there. Do we see any patrol, any law enforcement at all in that? Yeah, like off Jasmine Lane, Summer Hill, all of that. I know we're getting a skid in the shot there, but I'm just curious to see if that's already happening over in that community. It's incredible. Yeah. Oh, look, there you got a sheriff's deputy coming in. Or CHP, it looks like.
Here's some water. Well, and we don't have any trucks in that neighborhood right there either, right, Des? I mean, I'm not seeing any fire trucks there on that, what is that? That Summer Wind or I can't tell exactly. Okay, I see, looks like a
Summer Hill, yeah.
Summer Hill, but,
It's a CHP car,
I
yeah.
don't see a fire truck up there to maybe start putting some water behind these houses.
Wow. Yeah, Foxfield.
for
Yeah.
it, but nothing over on the other side here. And this fire, earlier when this started, we were looking at the back side of the fire in the neighborhood there. We saw a fire truck there, but now this is all shifted, and we're not seeing a lot of water being dropped on this fire.
This is Mike.
Yeah, and I mean, I did not anticipate this fire getting this close to threatening these homes so quickly, especially without the benefit of heavy winds. As I try to kind of measure how close this
Okay, thank you.
is, we've got about 300 feet or so towards
Sounds good, bye.
velocity of rain. That at least is going to be burning more on the downhill slope, so it's probably not going to be as effective as spreading. We have a little bit of brush clearance there. It appears as we're working our way now kind of towards the north side, northwest side of this fire. And still have the map tracker up here to show you all of the different smokewood wave. Definitely seeing a ton of smoke right now at the very least. So yeah, I mean, look at how much this is blowing up to. I would say
Keep it on through fire.
20 acres now
All right.
at this point, and
Bye.
still limited amount of water being put on this fire off of Pico Canyon.
Yeah, Mike, you're getting new
Yeah.
information?
Yeah. I just got a call from the sheriff's department. We were asking about evacuations. Santa Clarita, as we saw, and we saw CHP doing this as well. They're kind of doing this like neighborhood, like pocket by pocket type thing. But there, at this point, are no formal evacuations that have been ordered. So there is no formal evacuation order at this point. Though I am told deputies from Santa Clarita Station are, of course, in the area as we have seen them. They are in the area and they are ready to do more formal evacuations should the cause arise. Which already we've got this fire that's burning kind of nearby those homes, up and down that ridge. That's where it started and has gained significant distance since this fire started. So we know right now that from LA County Sheriff's Department, they're in the area. They are not conducting formal evacuations at this point, but are aware of the fire, are working with people that maybe have homes more nearby, and are prepared to do those evacuations should need be. And it looks like it's kind of skirting that ridge right there and pushing around the backside. You see that kind of light drift of wind that is pushing the smoke up the hillside. Des, how is it? Can you tell underneath the smoke how close it is to those homes there?
It's very hard to see here. We're trying to kind of work our way around to see if we can see underneath here. I mean, I can measure again. Last we were close to 300 feet. So yeah, still holding it about yeah, still holding it maybe 300 or so feet. You can see. I mean, there is definitely it's not heavy wind, but there is definitely a breeze enough to be carrying. You can see the way that the smoke is blowing right towards this neighborhood, and I do not see any fire apparatuses underneath right here with us. So here we got
CHP.
trying to go in and see if anyone's home here. I mean, probably have a lot of people that are still at work right now, but you can see some cars there in that driveway, and they're I'm sure trying to get a hold of the people and let them know that they've got to get out of there. In fact, look now, you can see the way that the trees are billowing here. So because we are in a canyon, we are definitely getting the flames are definitely being fanned by some winds, even though not very strong. And it really is just shocking how this fire has been able to blow up like this. And still waiting to see the Chinook come in.
Should be inbound.
The heaviest. Okay.
There he is, top left.
We'll see if I can find him here. If we can see them.
Yeah, right there.
Coming in right here. This is going to be the highest capacity water dropping helicopter that our firefighters have in the fleet. So hopefully, we get some really, really effective drops here. They can even do multiple drops if they want, either one large one or two smaller ones. So they're focusing more kind of in the flatland where they can prevent it from spreading to these other ridge lines. So yeah, I mean, there's so many flanks now this fire to fight that it's tough. There's not just one area to attack. There's a lot of different areas that they have to be focusing on right now.
All right, thank you so much, Desmond and Mike. This is Pat Harvey along with Susie Saw, and we do have breaking news on CBS LA at 5 o'clock. Firefighters are battling a brush fire burning in Stevenson Ranch.
Now let's go back upstairs now to Desmond Shaw live in Sky Cow with more. And Desmond, this is burning, like you said, dangerously close to some homes. And just about an hour ago, that was not the situation.
Yeah, Susie, Pat, I'm sorry, might be having some comms issues here, but yeah, very, very close to homes here, no doubt. I'm finally got a fire engine here in one of the most threatened neighborhoods here at the end of Summer Hill Lane, where this fire has just exploded over the last
even leaving the Antelope Valley,
Yeah.
heading over to Stevenson Ranch. And we also know that there are water sources available. I mean, certainly in the San Fernando Valley, not
Yeah.
very far from Stevenson Ranch, Banana Hills, that area. So are you hearing anything that could be, reported as why?
Well, you know what was interesting?
Difficult.
Yeah, you know what was interesting, Pat and Susie? When we got over this, the fire department actually hadn't had a dispatch for it yet. So Desmond was overhead before the fire department knew about it. And then we actually made a call to say, hey, Sky Cal's over this, da-da-da-da. And they were just starting to get calls of it at the same time. So it just kind of moved pretty quickly. And like we mentioned, like we talked about, they've had a lot of resources tied up in Lancaster throughout the day. So they were moving their hand crews around and all of those things. The Chinook got here. But yeah, I mean, I will say, and this is not critical of them, I know that there's a lot of things going on, but I will say the aerial response seemed to be slightly slower than we are used to seeing. And I don't know if that's because of what was going on up in Lancaster and the various issues that they had, but that didn't happen as quickly as we normally see. Now, I can tell you that there is finally what's called a Helco overhead, which is the ones that kind of coordinate the aerial attack. So you've got that, you've got two Firehawks, you've got the Chinook, and then we've got the retardant dropping one that is getting more at Fox Field in the northern Lancaster area.
Mike, you said that there are no evacuations on the Gracia Wind side?
So I want to see, and Nate, if we can get my computer when you have a second, I want to show you this because officially no, but there is, what's interesting is a shelter in place order, which almost seems counterintuitive in a fire. But there is a shelter in place order that just popped up on the map. We'll show that to you when we can here on my computer. But it's the STV Pico area there. Thanks, Nate. So it's this area right here. And again, this purple area is that shelter in place area, or the shelter in place order. So the fire started over here kind of off the 5 and Sunset Point, and it's burned through here. And this is the neighborhood behind it that Desmond has been looking at. So again, at this point, and I'll just refresh it while we're all sitting here looking at it, it is just a shelter in place order. Now, I talked to the Sheriff's Department a moment ago. They said that they are preparing to potentially do some more evacuations. I did hear some talk of that on the radio, but at the moment, that hasn't triggered anything just yet. They're still in a shelter-in-place order. Now, hopefully, if we go back to Desmond's pictures, it gets to the top of the ridge and then slows down. Now they've got all of the the water-dropping helicopter overhead. Hopefully, we'll start to be able to make some progress.
And I was going to say, I mean, they know what they're doing. So
Yeah.
let's suppose that the shelter-in-place order is specifically because of all the smoke inhalation in the area, and they may be
Yeah.
more concerned about that as opposed to having people evacuate immediately.
Well, that and people in the way, right? I mean, if neighborhoods are flooding out, then that can prevent fire apparatus from getting in. So if they're confident, and you got sheriff's deputies down there on Favoloso Court right now, kind of doing their thing. So they're there. They're aware, obviously. They're in the neighborhood, and they're making those command decisions.
You're just talking about confidence, Mike, and I'm wondering if the confidence level is pretty high for firefighters right now because they are bringing in those hand crews
Yeah.
to cut those lines, and they wouldn't be doing that in a situation if there were erratic winds or if it would be a danger for those firefighters on the ground, but they're actually able to do that. Perhaps they did do that because, Pat, as you mentioned, it's been slow on the aerial support, but I wonder if we go to meteorologist Evelyn Taft, who's standing by with a look at the wind conditions out there. Evelyn, I imagine that has a lot to do with this, with the fact that there isn't much wind, right?
Just FYI, Desmond's IFB is really spotty. So if he doesn't answer, that's why. Oh, now we got big boys coming in. So C-130. Chopper C-130 coming in. It's over Sand Canyon right now. And the other fixed wing just took off again out of Fox.
those winds aren't strong enough to really have embers blowing all over the place. But there's more good news to report at this hour. Mike, you just said
Yeah.
that the big guys are overhead, those fixed wings.
Oh yeah, so we're getting a C-130. This is one of the new ones that Cal Fire has installed. They have several of them now, but these are the C-130s. Are a very obviously large aircraft with a lot of retardant or water, whatever they may be carrying. So that's on its way. Looks like that's coming out of San Bernardino, but it's already in the Santa Clarita Valley. It's probably just getting situated with Helco and figuring out where they want to drop it. That other fixed wing, there's another water drop happening from the Firehawk. The other fixed wing that we saw earlier has refueled and is on its way back from Fox Field. So we're in good position. We've got a lot of aircraft that are now starting to be in on this, and you can already kind of see the difference it's making. The smoke is starting to dissipate a little bit. We're seeing just pockets of flames instead of walls of flames like we did earlier. So that's all good news. And there's another one. There's a Chinook, which we know has an incredible amount of water in it. So hopefully this is all kind of, subsiding and we'll be able to get under control. And I'm just going to refresh here really quickly while I'm talking, and still just that shelter in place order for that part of the Santa Clarita Valley in Stevenson Ranch.
Yeah, this fire actually started at the bottom of one side of the ridge, if we look at earlier video from earlier during the 4 o'clock hour. And then, as Pat mentioned, it marched uphill, as fires do so quickly, as we see here in Southern California. And then now it's at the top of that ridge and threatening homes on the other side. So on either side of this ridge, there are homes. So it's just that, that almost perfect little situation where you have homes on either side, and here comes what Mike was
Yeah.
talking about. This
Yep.
That's got to be such a huge relief for those residents watching this happen right now, really, to get that aerial support.
It also, as we talk, firefighters, they've had their trial run, for goodness sake.
Oh, gosh.
We say that because of the fires that happened just a couple of weeks ago, where we all saw, and some of us were certainly impacted in terms of having to evacuate. One home burned. The fire was certainly much larger. So, I'm looking at them giving that shelter in place order where they don't want people getting out of the way, but at the same time, they probably looked at the situation and assessed it, thinking that once they get some of these, this aircraft, the C-130 in particular,
Yeah.
that they will get a handle on this, and that the winds aren't that great. There's another drop to the right of your screen. I don't think that was from earlier. I think that's, oh, that is from earlier. All right, our live scene is on the left there. But as we see this C-130, and the choppers come in and make more water drops, then we hope to see this dissipate. And as been mentioned earlier, you don't see people racing out of the
Yeah, which is good. I mean, that makes things a little bit more hectic when fire crews are trying to get in there. It's remarkable too, and I just sent the video to a placeholder. Nate's going to hopefully pull it up for us in a second here. But how small this fire was when SkyCal first got overhead. I mean, it was to the point where we weren't even sure the fire department knew about it. We made a call ourselves to the fire department. It was a very small fire that unfortunately just took hold and really worked its way through that neighborhood. I mean, there was a combination of factors. It was the hillside that's right there. The other factor is that the street where that was just far enough that fire crews couldn't get any of their apparatus through it. There's like a little gully, riverbed kind of thing in there as well. So it just was, and a lot of fuel. Yeah. Yeah, and that's what they said. We had that press conference last week where they talked about it, about, coming up and all of the wet weather we had, not necessarily snow, but rain that, allowed all of this to grow. And so it was just out of their reach by just that much, and really allowed itself to push through. And when we have a second, Nate, if you can show us that earlier video from when the fire first, popped out, and we'll show our viewers just how small it was when SkyCal originally got overhead. There it is, right on the right-hand side of your screen. He's going to pull out. You'll see the whole hillside right before it was burned. That's what it was when we first got there. The bottom of that ridge, and that's what it looked like. And then left side of your screen is obviously all of the land that it kind of chewed through. So it moved quick and it moved uphill. And like I say, just out of reach for the fire crews to be able to get an early jump on it before it did, kind of what we're looking at now.
Well, so many of us have heard from our different authorities about brush clearance, and I think we were talking about that earlier, about how many of the properties in this particular area had done brush clearance, just to be mindful of something like this happening. So hopefully that was a help.
Yeah.
In terms of the fire department's assessing and talking with the local authorities there about maybe even the HOAs about, okay, how does it look on the ground there in terms of the surrounding areas for the homes.
Always such a good reminder for everyone, no matter where you live, like whether you live near a ridge or not.
Is that, you see that off to the distance, those flames?
It looks like
Is that something new?
Are you looking on the right? Yeah. Right, Des, on the right-hand side, looks like where the Firehawk is. That's a new flame or something that's just kind of pushing up there right on the, yeah, right in there.
Yeah, I think this is just a little bit of a flare up here that's kind of, creeping up the ridgeline here and chewing through this thick brush. Definitely really, really thick fuel here as you can see just how thick all the brush is here in this area, which it really makes it just so much tougher to get the flames knocked down. But yeah, now that we have like 3 or 4 helicopters here, you can see just what a massive difference they've made. That fire line that we saw, that the first group of fire retardant came down, looks like that's going to have saved Brazio Lane. Fabuloso here, you see that the fire was not able to get through the retardant line right there, cut it off in its tracks very, very quickly. We had that C-130 doing quite a few laps up here, trying to determine where they're going to drop at, and they may be coming in right now, so we'll see where they're going to try to kind of connect that fire line there with retardant and hopefully, surround and drown this fire and, yeah, get everyone a sigh of relief here, hopefully soon.
Desmond, earlier we saw that chopper drop off the fire crew, the hand crews down there. Have you seen them working and working on cutting any of those lines on the ground yet?
I have not been able to see them through the smoke. I mean, yeah, they are down there somewhere. That was really, really tough how where they got dropped off kind of right in this area, and then just with hand tools to try to dig out some fire lines as quickly as possible. So right there in the thick of it, those hand crews that were down there, they may have gone to the other side, maybe down here as the C-130 goes right below us here. Just wait to see it come and make a turn, and that's really going to be the turning point, I think, once the plane comes in and decides where it's going to drop off. Trying to find it, there it is. So we'll see here. He's done a couple of flaps around here, just trying to kind of pinpoint where they're going to be dropping at. Sorry about that, a little bit of a skid there in a way, but yeah, this will be huge once he comes in and drops this load of fire truck.
Well, as you mentioned, Des, it's already starting to look much better. We're very happy to say that, and I believe we are going to go on to other news at this hour, but we will be continuing, of course, to follow this fire burning in the Pico Canyon area of Stevenson Ranch. But there's more breaking news to tell you about at this hour. 8 people are believed to be dead after a B-52 bomber crashes in the Southern California desert.
Yeah, the accident happening just after 11 o'clock this morning at Edwards Air Force Base in the western Mojave Desert. That's about 100 miles northeast of Los Angeles.
And CBS LA assignment editor Mike Rogers live at the desk now to tell us more about this.
Yeah, Pat and Susie, there was a press conference about 45 minutes to an hour ago now, which unfortunately didn't reveal a ton of new information. Obviously, we can't, or they can't, rather, that's the U.S. military in these early hours. But I want to show you a piece of new video that we just got from somebody who works there near Edwards Air Force Base, and you can see the massive